There are a lot of different ways to fund a community garden and to keep it running. One of the most common ways to fund a garden if you have an allotment or a neighborhood garden is through rental fees, where each one of the individual gardeners or garden families pays a rental fee for their plot. It may not be a huge fee, a very nominal fee, but it helps cover some of the expenses like the tilling and the water bill. And it's really okay to charge that expense to those gardeners, because most gardens have found that when the gardeners invest a little bit of themselves, not only in their physical work, but a little bit monetarily, they're more likely to follow through and protect that investment. So that's a fair way to help pay for some of those expenses. You might also have some assistance from the local organization that is hosting you. Say you're working on a church ground or maybe part of a community center. They might be able to help you with some of your expenses. Maybe they would be willing to help offset your water bill somewhat or share some of those expenses. They might be able to help you with some of the expenses initially, say fencing or running the water lines if it's on their property. A lot of community gardens are hosted by a public agency. They might be on city or county grounds. And again, some of those hosting local government groups may be willing to help offset some of the water bill or help you get started and get going, because they found that some of that space is ground that they were going to have to maintain anyway, that they would have some expenses in mowing and upkeep, and it kind of balances itself out. And they find it to be a benefit to the community and that it makes their community a better place to live. Various groups have worked on grants where they might get a grant for, say, helping put in some compost bins or some picnic tables or some of those types of things. They might get donations in kind that some of their gardeners or the neighbors or some business in town might help them, say, with the tilling a couple times a year. Some of those in-kind donations, or they might actually give monetary donations, gifts of tools, seeds, those type of things.
Well, the Sedgwick County Extension Center was such a good collaborator with us. We knew we wanted a garden in this neighborhood, and Father Jerome at St. Patrick's said that we could use this plot. It had a house on it at one time, and they just didn't really know what to do with the land, and he was tired of people throwing trash in it. So the first thing we had to do was get it cleaned up, and we had some volunteers that cleaned up all the boards and all the trash that was laying around. And then we had someone volunteer to, actually we had two volunteers to from a construction company to run a tractor and a plow through here and till it up. We have our well back here. A fellow who owns a company that drills wells donated all of his equipment and everything. Our electric bill has been like $25 a month. I mean, it's been awesome. Applied for a little scholarship and got some nutrients to add to the soil. And the compost, we got a truckload of horse manure, composted horse manure for the garden. We planned to have a compost bin, and we wanted a nice big one so that we have plenty of room to rotate everything like we need to. And so we talked to Rebecca about it at one point, and then she got a call from a Boy Scout who was looking for a project, and so she sent him my way. Then the following week, Safe Streets had a meeting with a State Farm representative that wanted to do some more work in this neighborhood, and he offered to pay for the materials. So we have the labor donated, and we also have the materials covered.
So there are just a lot of different ways that you can help fund your community garden. So just be creative and think about all the different ways you might be able to bring different groups in your community together to help fund that garden.
For more information, visit your local extension office or visit our website at kansasgreenyards.org.